No, I don't have much stress. It's leisure time.
Oh, you need this. All right, today we're gonna use something to slide on. So if you're at home and you're on carpet, you can use paper plates. You can use something that slips easy on the carpet. If you're on a wood floor, grab a towel or a little blanket, something that slides on the floor. We're gonna use that. So have it handy down near the foot end of your mat, wherever your feet are going to be.
Oh, I don't have a lot of room down that end. Should I turn around?
No, because you fold your mat up, so it just needs to sit at the end. Also, if you have straps or bands, grab them. This is stretch and strength today, so we're going to do some strength and then we'll do some stretches. You don't have to have the bands, but if you have them, they're handy. And if you have a block, it can be handy too. So, let's get started. Come on down to your back. Bring your feet nice and close to the edge of your mat. Before you come down, keep your feet down, knees up. Wiggle around until you get comfortable. Find the position where your feet are the right place, the right distance. So a lot of people bring them really close to their glutes, but we're looking for comfort. So, I don't know if they can see me.
On Facebook?
Yeah, I don't
They can see you. I can see you.
So, come on down and find that position where your knees, your hips, and your lower back feel super comfortable.
It looks right. I think it's focusing on Tallulah.
No, I think what's happening is that paper thing makes it look darker.
Oh, yeah.
So find the position where your back is super comfortable. Wiggle your shoulders around. Try to take the tension out of your neck. And take a moment to land. Take a couple of big, deep breaths in and really just sigh out the air. And then if it's comfortable for you, take a moment to close your eyes. And just start to land, really land in the present moment in time. Let go of what has happened before this moment. Let go of what might happen after this moment. Maybe imagining building up a little wall, a little shed around your mat. And you're just going to be on your mat for the next 60 minutes. Everything else is outside of your little protective walls. And then start to body scan, looking for places of tension. It's time to check in and feel the body. Notice the feet. Notice the legs. Notice the hips and the low back, the stomach. Notice the muscles around the rib cage. Notice any gripping around the shoulders, even around in under the armpits. Notice the palms of the hands and the fingers. Notice the muscles of the jaw, around the eyes, muscles of the forehead. And then notice the breath. Just notice where it's at, how fast or slow it is, how shallow or deep it is. And then floating the eyes open, just begin to take really slow rolls with the chin, waking up the neck, taking your chin side to side, letting your head be heavy. So not with serious muscular action, just trying to connect in. Feel the muscles of the neck. And then take the chin all the way to the right shoulder and then press the left shoulder into the ground. So muscular action, pushing the left shoulder into the ground. And then pull the left shoulder up. And then push the left shoulder down, just trying to locate where all the tension is in the shoulder. And then take your chin over to the left. Press the right shoulder down into the ground. Notice any compensation patterns that happen. Notice maybe your low back fires up or your stomach. Bring your shoulder up towards the ear. And then down.
I didn't do that on your side. I thought you went up towards like the ceiling.
No.
I went.
Well, it works too. I mean, I'm sure you found like some tension in your shoulder that way. Bring your chin back to neutral and wiggle the shoulders. Let the shoulders soften and loosen. And then take your hands up to the ceiling. Spread your fingers wide. And then bring your fingertips down towards the arms and then up. Just moving through the wrist action. Feeling your wrists. Nice and slow. And then take your wrists in very slow circles, your hands in slow circles. Slow. Feeling the wrists. As if you're trying to find all of the angles that your wrist can move in. And then switch the direction. And then taking your hands to the ceiling as if you're trying to get longer in the arms, strong in the hands. So feel all the muscles of the hands, feel the muscles of the hands, feel the muscles of the arms, and then take little tiny circles.
Stop making me do.
Tight, tight, tight circles, starting to feel the arms. Now reverse your circles.
Oh. I just realized you have a dongle we can use.
And then bring your arms all the way. I don't. It doesn't have USB.
Oh.
All the way back. Down towards the ground. Still making your circles. About shoulder height. Don't let them hit the ground. Hover them and then bring them back. Switching the direction of your circles. So reverse your circles. And bring your arms back towards the ceiling. And then lower the arms down towards the hips. We're going to just move through the arms. Inhale as you lift the arms up overhead. Exhale as you lower. Starting to connect breath with movement. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Bring the arms back towards the ceiling. This time we're going to inhale as we open them wide. And exhale as we squeeze them back together as if we're trying to squeeze a ball between our hands. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Arms active. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze. Notice any gripping in the toes and the feet and the low back. Just try to work the upper body, upper chest and shoulders and arms. Notice any gripping in the face. Soften the face.
Let's see if you're gripping.
And then allow the arms to come to the ground, shoulder height. And roll the arms on the ground. So roll the hands back and forth, roll the arms. Starting to just connect with the shoulders. And then let the arms rest wherever they're comfortable. And we're going to focus in on the lower body. So starting to feel the feet. Maybe wiggle the feet about hip distance apart, about if they weren't there already. Land the hips on the ground. So the hips are solid on the ground. The lower back is not being forced onto the ground. Hips are solid onto the ground. Press the feet into the ground. Pick up the toes. Spread the toes nice and wide. And then plant the toes down as if you're trying to plant them down one at a time. And then we're going to pick up the heels of the feet, stretching, pushing the balls of the feet down and picking up the heels. So it's a little stretch, warm up in the front of the foot. And then pedal the heels nice and slow, one at a time, back and forth, lifting a heel at a time, just feeling the muscles in the feet. Notice compensation patterns. Watch that low back, watch the shoulders and face, nice and soft. Pedaling the feet. And then land the feet firmly, release any gripping from the toes, a little press into the feet. And we're just going to move and breathe. So we're going to lift the hips as we inhale. Inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, lower. Trying to let go of that whole arch. Often we see this big arch that happens pushing up really high. We're just starting to connect with breath and movement. So we're not looking for an arch. We're looking to find all the muscles in the stomach that are going to pull the hips up, and also all the muscles in the back of the legs and the glutes. Trying to connect with these muscles and find them evenly. So not one group of muscles working harder than the others. Inhale, lift, exhale, lower. Try to soften the neck, maybe keep the chin a little more to the ceiling. And then find that place where you can lift the hips and comfortably hold. So everything is strong. Your neck is not pinching. Your chin is not being forced down towards the chest. Hold it here, muscles engaged. And then press the heels like you're trying to press the heels away from you, and then lift the toes. Watch for any gripping in the neck and shoulders. Try to keep it in the torso and the back. So we're looking for glutes and the back of the legs fired up. Then lower the toes and feel like you're pulling the heels towards the glutes without letting them move. So really fire up the back of the legs. And then lower the hips and take us side to side with the knees just to reset. And then you're going to fold your mat from the edge towards the glutes. Grab the mat and place your hips on it just to lock it down. And then you're going to find your blanket and place your heels on the blanket. So your heels are going to be on the blanket. Don't take them too far from the glutes because it's harder. So make sure you place your heels on the blanket at a comfortable space from the glutes. You'll regret it if you take them too far. Start small and then build. So nice and close to the glutes, not super close, a little bit of space. Set up, so we're going to lift the hips to where we can comfortably hold, and then we're going to pull the mat, whatever our feet are on, towards the glutes, and then slowly let them slide away. So a muscular action in both directions. Pull the heels towards the glutes, slowly let the heels slide away. Strong stomach. Strong glutes, strong back of the legs. This is not supposed to be easy. Watch for gripping in the arms and shoulders.
It's harder to pull it once it gets closer to you.
You don't want it really close, so your knees are tight.
It's harder.
But you don't want it far, far, far away, because then it's like impossible. This is really hard.
Really? It's easier to pull when it's farther.
Okay. Do it until you feel like you can't do anymore, and then do 2 more. And then lower the hips and take the knees side to side. Kaylee's face is hysterical. Watch for gripping in the face. This time we're going to keep the hips on the ground. Let the heels slide away. So not so that your knees are locked down. The legs are not straight, a little bend in the knees. We're going to let the hips stay firm on the ground. So maybe even keep your hands on your hips just to remind them to be grounded. And then pull the heels towards the glutes and actively slide away. Pull the heels towards the glutes, actively slide away. So a little bit easier, but still using the back of the legs. Make sure you're active in the feet, active in the legs. Find those muscles. Don't just fly your feet around. We're not sliding. We're not cleaning the floor. We're trying to find our muscles. So bring your heels towards the glutes.
I'm cleaning the floor.
Kaylee's cleaning the floor.
Being helpful.
And then let your feet slide down. And take a shuffle of the feet. So really wiggle the legs. Shuffle the legs. Let them loosen.
I'm so itchy. Bug bites all over here.
And then bring that mat. So lift your hips just to toss the mat back to where it was. Take a side shuffle of the knees, side to side, just to reset the lower back. And then grounding the hips down into the ground. Take the feet up towards the ceiling. Spread the toes wide. And then take really slow circles with the feet. And then back the other way. Notice if your feet are dirty because you were in the garden this morning. And then pedal the feet. So pressing one foot up at a time towards the ceiling. Just trying to connect with all the muscles in the legs. Watching for the low back. So maybe pressing the hips down a little more actively into the ground. Pedaling out the legs. And bring your knees in. Give yourself a little hug. Maybe rock it. And then if you have your strap handy, grab your strap, place your left foot on the ground, right foot goes towards the ceiling. Wrap your strap or your band around your right foot. Grab a hold, and rather than pushing the knee backwards and locking the leg, have a little bend in the leg and just keep that right hip on the ground. Then play with the point where you find the back of your leg, the part that we just worked, just gave a little strength to. Start to find it, feel the place where you feel it warm but not screaming. So don't go to the point where your leg is screaming. Try to let go of the idea of a goal. We're looking for mind-body connection. So we're not looking to get our knee to our nose. We're looking to find the back of our leg and just kind of move around and have an internal experience. Find the places where your muscles seem to be gripping and send your breath there. Send your awareness there, starting to find the back of the leg, lengthen the back of the leg.
I think we need to switch the words in the title.
Why?
We don't stretch then strengthen, we strengthen then stretch.
Well, it doesn't matter. It's both. We do both.
So it's strengthen and stretch.
Whatever. Yes, you should warm up the muscle before you lengthen it.
So it's
You
not
warm it
stretch.
up, it does better for stretching.
So our title's backwards.
And then if you have the band or strap, holding on to the band or strap, press the ball of the foot towards the ceiling, pull the toes back towards the shin. Slowly lower the heel towards the ground, pushing the leg away from you, getting it longer, and then bring it back.
How is your finger not dying? That hurts my finger.
My hands are strong for massage.
No, but it like pinches. You must have no sensation in that finger.
No, they're just really strong.
Freak
Lower
fingers.
and lift it. They are. I can do push-ups with my fingers.
Oh. Oh. Ow.
I started when I was like 5 doing karate. Push-ups on your fingers, man.
Why?
Because it makes them strong.
Why do you want strong?
And then bend your knee. Release the leg. Take both legs down to the ground and wiggle them. And notice left and right sides. Because we worked one side, not the other.
My right leg feels longer. It does. I think it's longer.
Place the right foot on the ground. Take the left foot to the ceiling, mindful of the left hip. So push this left hip down. Notice if you are pulling this left hip up so you can get your knee to your nose. It's a compensation pattern, and it also tells you a lot about what's going on with your ego, with your body, with your mind. Maybe you've just seen something that you'd really like to get in somebody else's body shape, but you're not having an internal experience. If you're having goals for the ego, like having a pose that you're working towards, is amazing. There's nothing wrong with it. However, when you're really overcompensating somewhere to try and get there, you're not listening to your body. Your body's telling you something. So drop that hip down. Find the place where the leg is warm and work here.
Facebook is really focused in on your foot. It's only focused on your foot right now. It's really funny.
So feeling some movement here, having an internal experience. You can move the foot around, you can turn the ankle. Really just trying to feel all the places where you find tension in the back of the leg. And then slowly lower the foot, holding onto the band. Try not to lock the knees. So you're sending energy out through the ball of the foot. Strong leg. And then back. Watching the hip, keeping the hip grounded. Bonus points if you can match the movement to your breath. Inhale as you lower. And exhale as you lift. And then bring the left foot down to the ground. Take it long, take the right leg long. And really just try and feel the legs. Wiggle the legs around. Maybe they feel the same, maybe they feel different. Checking in, see how they feel. And then bring the soles of the feet back to the ground, knees up, and take your band or your strap, or just imagine you have something you're pushing into around the lower arms. They're upper because I'm looking at them. Lower arms, forearms.
They're upper because they're above you, but
Yeah. So just below the wrist. Try not to put the bands on any joints. So just above the wrist, just below the wrist. I don't know. Like not on the wrist, between the wrist and the elbow. So start to engage and notice your compensation pattern. So wiggle the hips around, make sure the low back's not doing the work. Start to engage the arms and shoulders. Watch for the neck, watch for the face, and then open wide as you can, pushing in, and then release. So slow. It's not releasing, it's slow back and forth. So trying to find your muscles.
my shoulders are weak.
Draw your arms open, and then slowly bring them back.
My
to
shoulders
center.
are really weak.
So inhale as you open your arms. Exhale as you bring them back to center. And then really focusing on slowing the movement down and getting really strong. If your hands get tired, take your hands to fists.
I'm pushing my shoulder blade into the ground when I open my arms.
So try to think more about the chest muscles.
I can't.
Kaylee has no chest. She has no chest muscles.
Apparently not.
She also has no abs, in case anybody's curious.
What exercise was I doing where I couldn't feel the muscles working in my stomach? I don't know what was
I think
working.
you just have no brain connection to your stomach.
I was feeling
Release
it with
the
my
straps.
hands.
Take your hands to the ceiling and really shake them, loosen them. Shake, 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 and loosen, and then take them to the ground and let them soften to the ground wherever they're comfortable. Shoulders are comfortable. Take a deep breath in and sigh it all out. And then we're just going to work through upper back. So trying to keep the feet on the ground, but we're loose now. We're releasing muscle action, so we're releasing that gripping and strengthening of the muscles. We're just going to move through range of motion. So you're going to take your right hand and you're going to roll slowly over, letting your head stay on the ground, and bring your right hand all the way past your left. Just trying to feel upper back. And then all the way.
Are my feet supposed to stay here?
Open wide. Your feet can stay on the ground, just anything, just movement, natural movement. So you're really focusing, like you don't want to move, you're moving from your hips. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you want to move from the left hand. Watch Kaylee. She's going to do it opposite. Try to keep the hips down and move from the left hand. Let the left hand guide the movement, and then let the hips do whatever they want to do.
That feels way better than what I was doing.
Inhale, open. Exhale as you let the hand guide the movement, working through the upper back and shoulders. Then let the hips do whatever they're going to do. The hips are soft, but do not start the movement from the hips. We're starting from the hands. Reach. Maybe take your arm even longer, further away. Starting to have an internal experience with your shoulders and your upper back.
I was definitely doing the opposite of this. Just in case you were wondering.
Slowly across. Inhale as you open the arms wide. Exhale as you squeeze an arm over past the other.
My shoulder popped into place. That was weird.
See, that's what's supposed to happen. You're supposed to be resetting. Open wide. Allow the knees to be to the ceiling, the hips and legs to be soft, the shoulders to be soft. Watch for your compensation patterns in your low back, in your neck. Really connect with the shoulders. See if they feel any different. See if your upper back between the shoulder blades feels any different. And then roll on over to a side. And come on straight to a tabletop position. We're going to breathe and move here. Move and breathe. Tabletop, inhale, exhale, child. So inhale, tabletop, exhale, child. Try to ignore Kaylee throwing a tantrum in the corner.
It's just awesome.
It's not even close, man. You're not even halfway through. Inhale forward, exhale backwards. So really starting to tune out everything else. We often come to this familiar pattern. Familiar patterns are set for a reason. We're not looking to have strong muscular action. We're looking to move and find all the places that we're holding tension. Connect with our hands. Connect with our feet. Connect with our breath. Connect with our back. Maybe taking some movements side to side or curling and rolling through the spine, just kind of feeling all the ways it can move and where it's holding tension. And then come on up to a tabletop position. Take your left hand to a fist and place your left hand down on the ground. So you're still supporting most of the weight on the right hand. Try not to stick your thumb out and take all the weight onto your thumb. Tuck your thumb. Land on the fist. So you really want to have the first two knuckles take most of the weight. So land on the fist and then begin to take a little more weight onto the fist. So really starting to strengthen the wrist in a different position. So back and forth, just experimenting with taking weight in your wrist and your hand a little bit different. Building strength in the arm. Maybe bending the elbow and really starting to come forward on that hand. Switch sides. Stretch out the left hand, maybe take some wiggles. And then take your fist with the right, trying to land on the first two knuckles. Straighten up the wrist, so get strong on the wrist first, and then start to take some weight. So go slow, feel your body. So the way that we know when the muscles around the joints are not strong is when buckling happens. So buckling, for example, it's easiest to see in the shoulders. So this is my shoulders strong. All of the muscles in my shoulders are nice and strong and active. This is where I can't hold any strength. My shoulders have buckled and I'm sinking into the joint. I can't hold it anymore. I'm tired. I can't hold the strength. So buckling looks like sinking into the joint. We want to look strong around the joint. So wherever you can go, that you're still strong and not buckling in the wrist. You don't want to be doing this with your wrist. Your wrist does not want to be flopping around. So as long as you can hold a little bit of weight, a teeny bit, you're building strength. You're better off building a teeny bit of strength than to buckle.
Well, my knee was giving out. It was probably just because I didn't have muscles around the joint.
Yeah. That's why we do a lot of knee work. So I'm going to show you something with Kaylee. Kaylee has got a compensation pattern going on. She's trying to do 2 fists. So if you're ready, you can move to 2 fists. I suggest you begin by bringing your fists closer to your knees so that you can really control how much weight you're going to take on your fists. Kaylee is locking her arms and taking everything into her arms. She's locking around the shoulders, locking around the elbows. So it's better to bend the elbows so you're really focusing more on the muscles around the wrist and less in here. So take less weight, find some strength in the lower arm and around the wrist. There you go. And then you're going to start to move forward, taking weight in the wrists. Now, if you're going to bring the upper body forward, draw some strength into the chest. Make sure you're holding strength into the chest, the stomach, and around the top of the shoulders. No buckling in the shoulders. So if you're looking to get to the point where you can hold a chaturanga, for example, chaturanga, you can hold it for a really long time. You can do chaturanga on your fist. If you can hold it for a really long time, you need to build the strength around your wrists and around
hold it for a long time.
chest. So you need to get past that I'm so weak I'm buckling to build strength in your chest. So you should be able to hold the chaturanga for a long time before you're moving through chaturanga as a transitional pose. Right in the face. Take it back to child's pose. Flip the palms. Breathe and surrender. Let go. Loosen and soften the fingers. Come back to a tabletop. Thread the right hand underneath, palm up. So it's going to go through underneath the left arm, palm up. But rather than reaching really far, just pop it down and then pull the arm backwards. So you want to feel like you're pulling the wrist back to where it came from, back from where you had it originally, and then spine the muscles of the shoulder. And then maybe a little movement back and forth, just kind of feeling where you hold your tension. You might find a wonderful spot where you're like, oh, that feels really good. And then switch sides, left hand threads your palm up. Place it down and then feel like you're pulling the hand back to where it was without letting it move. And then take a little movement. And then bring your left hand back and come to a seat towards the back of the mat.
It is Shavasana time.
It really is not. I have bug bites everywhere. Come to a seat towards the back of the mat. We're going back towards our slidey thing. So you're going to find your hands on your slidey thing, whatever you're sliding on.
Switch.
Yes, because
Well, I
otherwise
mean, because I don't have sliding room.
fold your mat up. Or just switch. All right, so we're gonna put our hands on our slidey thing, whatever we're using. Turn your hands to where your wrists are comfortable in whatever direction your wrists feel comfortable. We're gonna set up, so don't fall back on the tailbone. Engage the stomach to keep you back off that tailbone. We're looking to work the upper arms. So you're looking to work back of the upper arms, the whole upper arm. Chest is gonna be strong and stomach is gonna be strong just to stabilize the spine. Feet are planted on the ground. If you want to have feet and legs active, you're going to feel like you're pulling the heels towards the glutes. If you want your lower body to take a break, don't do it. So we're going to let our arms slide away from us. Bend the elbows. And then bring them back nice and slow as you can. Let them slide away. And then bring them back. Try not to use the back. So really using the arms, watch for your compensation patterns, don't lock the elbows. Slow as you can, sliding slow. So engage stomach, mindful of the back, watch for compensation patterns in the neck and the face.
Stretch.
So pull. See if you can slow down your slide. If it's not hard, you're not working hard enough. Pull, 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 pull. Now she's got it. And then let the arms slide to where you feel a nice opening in the chest and then pull the chest back up. So now soft.
I haven't done this stretch since gymnastics.
And then let go of your thing that slides, your slidey thing. You should come up with a name for that. Take right arm.
Slidey thing is a pretty great name.
Slidey thing. Your slip tool. Take your right arm across the body.
I like slidey thing a lot better.
Grab it with the left forearm and then push the arm into the forearm. So rather than pulling the shoulder all the way across, take it across a little bit and then push back. So you have that push-pull. So now draw the right shoulder backwards, active and strong. So lots of directions that you're feeling muscular action here. Take it out, flick the arms out. Take the left arm, cross the body, right forearm connects to left forearm, and then press left forearm into right forearm. And then pull the left shoulder back. So there's not actually a movement. You're pressing, locking, and you're just engaging by imagining you're pulling the left shoulder back.
I was checking if it was Shavasana time.
She just doesn't stop. And then take it out. Flick it out. Take some fingers out. Flick out your space. Clean out your space. And then come over your legs to tabletop. Feel your hands. Feel your wrists. Feel your arms. Tuck your toes and hover the knees. Engage. Pull the stomach tightly towards the spine. Engage all of the arms, all of the chest. Breathe. And then bring the right knee slowly towards the right elbow. Back. Left knee slowly towards left elbow. And back.
Hot in here.
Inhale as your feet are on the ground. Exhale as you draw one knee to the elbow. And then lower the feet. Keep the feet together. And take the hips up, down dog. Take the tension out of the neck. Find whatever movement feels good in your down dog. And then find the stillness of down dog. Find your breath. Connect with your head below your heart. Look towards the hands, bend the knees, and either float or walk up to your hips. Feet are underneath your hips. Land in a forward fold with your knees bent and let the torso find the thighs. Take the tension out of the neck. And then deep inhale as you rise up, hands overhead. Exhale, prayer to heart. A couple of times connecting to the breath. Inhale up. Exhale, prayer to heart. Bring your prayer to heart and center. Find your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Soften the low back. Soften the shoulders. Soften the face. And options for the next set. You can interlace your fingers, leaving your index fingers up, or if you'd like, you can grab your band and wrap your band around the forearms. Or you can just imagine you're holding a ball. We're going to take the arms up overhead. We're going to find the position for our legs where our legs feel strong and our hips and ankles and knees feel comfortable. So that may be, you may be more comfortable with your feet together, you may be more comfortable with them hip distance. Make a decision for your own physical practice right now. Have an internal experience. Don't just think I'm the boss. Bring your arms out, engage, lift up. So either interlaced or engaging, pulling out.
Wait,
Lift up, arms strong.
whenever I push out, my shoulder blades come out. Am I supposed to be using my chest muscles when I do that?
So no, shoulder.
Okay.
Don't draw the shoulder blades down.
Push
the arms out.
intentionally.
Push the arms strong. Arms. Lift up long, 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 and then take your arms over to the right without moving the lower body. So you want to get longer in the left body. So when you feel like the left hand is really reaching up, more than it's folding over, long in the left side body without compensating on the right side body. So not crunching this right side body to get more out of the left, but longer in the left, stronger in the left. Bring it back to neutral. Make sure you check in with your compensation patterns, get really long, and then take over to the left. Stretching right side. Breathe. Imagine you could send your breath in between each of the ribs, pushing your muscles out between the ribs, massaging the muscles with your breath. Watch for compensation patterns in the neck. And then bring it back to center. Release the band. Take it behind you. Locking in on the forearms behind you. So you can just imagine you have the band, or you can interlace your arms, your fingers if you can. Locking your legs so your base is strong. So feel like a little bend in the knees. Feel like you're pulling the feet apart. So legs are strong and active. Take the arms up behind you. Press the fingertips away from you. So really pressing the fingertips away from you. Maybe take the torso a little bit forward. Watch for compensation patterns in the low back, in the neck. So really reaching the arms long. And bring your torso back to neutral. Release your band. Inhale up and swan dive it down. Step back, high plank, lower down, all the way to crocodile. So one hand on top of the other, forehead down. Shimmy the hips, loosen, and let go. bring the hands to some comfortable position outside of your mat. They can be wherever you want as long as you're comfortable. Place the hands down on the ground. We're going to lift the shoulders a little bit, so watch for compensation patterns in the low back. And then we're going to move fluidly. So we're just going through range of motion, going through the directions that our spine and our shoulders can move in. So we're going to turn and look at our right toes, drop the left shoulder down, turn and look at the left toes, drop the right shoulder down. And when you get the hang of the movement, start to really roll through the shoulders and feel the shoulders. This is not for strength. This is just for finding, releasing, letting go of tension and holding patterns. Maybe change the position of the hands further away, closer to the hips. Just notice. Take it a little different. Bring it back to neutral, and you may want to place something underneath the forehead just so you have a little breathing space. We're going to take our hands out wide, fingertips down. So like a T, fingertips down. We're going to engage the hands. So press the fingertips down into the ground so the arms are a little bit engaged. And then we're going to roll one shoulder at a time. So a little soft roll of the shoulder, nice and slow. Rolling the shoulders. Finding your breath. Mindful of tension in the neck. Take your fingertips back down towards the hips. Engage. So really press the fingertips down. If you want, you can place the palms down if that works better. So then take your shoulder one at a time up to the ear. So moving through the range of motion, up and down the back. Up and down the shoulders. So we're really finding all the muscles that make the shoulders move. Trying to move slow. Trying to find places you're holding tension and gripping. Arms are engaged while we're doing this. And then bring it back to a regular crocodile. Shimmy and let go. And then option to leave your hands on the ground just to help stabilize you. If your back is super strong, we're going to lift up the shoulders and engage the back. Lift the toes, maybe even lift the hands. Imagine you're getting longer in the spine. So somebody pulled you by a string from the crown of your head and pulled your toes. Making as much length for your spine as you can. Breathe and hold. And then maybe little pulses. Inhale up. Exhale, lower. Small movement. Engaging all of the back line. And then bring it back to crocodile. Shimmy the hips. Loosen, soften, and let go. Take a couple of big deep breaths in, and with the exhale, sigh it out. What can you let go of? And then we're going to roll on over to our backs. Roll on over to your back. I'm just getting set up because the microphone's at this end. So bringing yourself onto your back. We're going to take a couple of last minute stretches and releases. So bring your knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug. Start to see how you feel. Start to connect within. Almost 60 minutes. How do you feel different than when you started? Take your right knee over your left. Bring your knees in towards the chest. Start to feel the piriformis on the right side. Bring the feet towards opposite shoulders and maybe rest your hands on your shins. You can also just not rest your hands on your shins. Breathe. You can play with the angles of your feet, connecting right into that whole glute area on the right side. Starting to turn off those fight or flight muscles. Starting to tell them that it's time to soften and loosen and rest. Take a break. Slowly lower the left foot down, unravel. Switch sides, right, left knee over right. Knees towards chest, feet towards opposite shoulders. And breathe. Connecting within and noticing any places of gripping, any tension, any holding patterns. Turning on that mind-body connection. Slowly unravel. Take your feet to the ground, knees up, and take a little side sway. Nice and slow and soft, as if you're trying not to wake your body up. Really swaying slow and soft, feeling your hips, feeling your low back, feeling your knees, feeling your feet, connecting the whole lower body. And then making your decision for where you want to be for your final resting pose. Maybe your feet are on the ground, knees are up, and your knees just soften in towards each other, trying to let your low back loosen its gripping. Maybe you rest your feet up on a chair. Maybe you go to full Shavasana. Maybe you fold into a child's pose or a fetal position, whatever feels best in your body today. And try not to think about it always has to be the same. We can add rituals, but we can also listen to our body, especially for our resting pose. Our resting pose is supposed to be getting, the reason why it's called corpse position, we're supposed to be getting as close to like turned off completely as we can possibly get so we can recharge. So wherever that position is for your body where there's no longer any gripping. So find the place you can place your body where all the muscles are turning off and you're turning off fight or flight. You're turning off any gripping and you're just starting to soften and loosen and melt into support. So melt into cushions, melt into blankets, melt into the ground, soften, let something carry the weight of your body. Let your muscles turn off, perhaps even taking a moment to say to yourself, right here in this moment, all of my needs are met. I can soften. I can loosen. I can take a break. Maybe even continuing to talk yourself down. I can let the ground support me. I can let my mind wander and do as it wants to do. I can soften control of my breath. And then beginning to think of your body as layers. Begin to think about the layer just above the skin, the energetic layer that kind of, if you're scientific, it's an electromagnetic pulse that we carry around with us. There is an energetic layer around us. So begin to connect with that space. And if you have trouble locating it, bring your awareness to the palms of your hands. Sometimes the easiest place to locate sensation of the layer above your skin. And then softly draw your awareness to your skin. Run your awareness all over your body, seeing how many places you can find sensation in your skin. Perhaps you can feel your clothing or your blanket or the ground below you. Perhaps you can just feel the temperature of the room. And then dive just below the surface of the skin, starting to connect the muscles. Checking in to see if they all softened. And if any of your muscles need a gentle reminder to let go. And imagine you could start to connect with your weight of your bones. And imagine the weight of your bones is sinking into your muscles. Like slowly sinking into quicksand. All the muscles getting softer and softer and softer. The bones are just melting towards the ground. No longer needing to be supported. Ready to rest. And then begin the journey looking deeper and deeper within, below the layers of the mind, below the layers of the emotions, towards the sound of your own heartbeat. Perhaps becoming so still and so quiet that you can find your unstruck chord. Sound of your own heartbeat, the sound of your own life force. you're in a wonderful place and you have the time to take, please remain in your resting pose for as long as you need. If you need to finish up at that 60-minute mark, we're coming right on that 60-minute mark. So begin to bring little movements to your fingers and your toes, as if slowly and gently waking up your body. And if you're not there already, make your way to a fetal position, curling up in a ball and connecting to the pose, the beginning pose. Reminding us of a time in the womb when all of our needs were met. And we had not judged ourselves as negative or positive. Returning to that spark of life we began with, connecting within as if recharging. And letting go of all the layers. And it's not that we need to shed the layers of the emotions or shed the layers of the ego or shed the layers of the mind. It's simply that we need to connect with this space within and know that that's our essential space, our essential part of ourself that remains unchanged by all of the other stuff. And all the layers and all the experiences are just layers and experiences. And it's not that we need to discard them, but we need to let go of the gripping. Some of us get stuck in the cognitive layers and we spend our time there chasing the thoughts, chasing the thoughts, chasing the thoughts. And we get stuck there and we begin to believe that that's all we are, those voices in our heads, chasing, chasing, chasing. Some of us get stuck in the emotional layer. And we think that we are only these feelings, and these feelings are overwhelming and they control everything we do. And sometimes we're stuck in the ego. And every decision we make, every life movement we make is controlled by that ego. And it's not that we need to tell the ego to shut up. The ego is an important part of our makeup. We just need not to be controlled entirely by any one of these layers. So whenever we can, we find the way to come back to this center layer, the bliss layer. Recharge so that we can better accept all the parts of ourselves, better accept all our thoughts and our emotions, our ego, our experiences. And then when we're able to do that, we get closer and closer to accepting ourselves as whole and complete without judgment. Finish your practice with your hands of prayer at heart space. Familiar ritual and reminding yourself to accept yourself as whole and complete, precisely as you are. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thanks for joining us.